Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the viewers, listeners, all the brothers and sisters and the children on behalf of Kashiful, Uloom, Al-Huda, Preston and Madrasa Ihyaaus Sunnah, Bolton. We were going through the identity map. We were understanding up to now, we were introduced to the letters in their full form and the standing alone form of the letters. So as you can see from here, this is what this whole first column over here, it says alone and then beginning, middle, end. What do they mean by beginning, middle, end? Just to recap, that when you have a sequence of joined letters, the sequence of joined letters will have a beginning to it, a middle to it, and also an ending to it. So you will have these letters which come on in the standing alone position, alif, ba, ta, tha, jim, ha, kha, all the way up to ya, the 29 letters. Many of them will come in a sequence of joined letters, and they will be taking up the position at the beginning or in the middle or at the end. As you can see from this from alif, that alif only has two formations. Alif will either come on its own or will come at the end join. You can't have an alif and you can't have a letter joining after it, because alif, dal, ra, za and waw are considered the naughty letters, for the benefit of our young children listening, that you can't join a letter after it. So as parents, you can use notepads and explain this to them. And over here, as you can see, letter ba has a standalone position and form, and then you can either have a ba coming in a sequence of joined letters. At the beginning it will look like this, in the middle it will look like this, and at the end it will look like this. These are the shapes they take up when letter ba is joined. This is the shape it will take up. So it's important. The purpose of having this identity map is that children have to have recognition of letters coming in the different shapes and forms. Once they have the recognition of the letters coming in different shapes and forms, then they will be able to pronounce the letter correctly. They cannot pronounce a letter if they cannot recognize a letter. It's impossible for a child to pronounce a letter correctly, or for anybody to pronounce a letter correctly, if they don't have the correct recognition of that letter. Letter ta, as you can see, ba, ta and tha, each one of them, right, they all have the same structure. The only difference is the shape is exactly the same. The only difference is the dots. So in ba we have one dot, ta we have two dots, and in tha we have three dots. But when they come in the beginning at the beginning of a sequence of joined letters, they all have the same shape. Again, they are distinguished and differentiated with their dots. Ba, ta, and tha. One dot underneath, two on top, and three on top. Middle, when these respective letters ba, ta and tha come in a sequence of joined letters and they are taking up the middle position, this is what they will look like. And then if they take up the end position of a sequence of joined letters, this is what they will look like. Shapes are exactly the same, just the placing, just the difference of dots. Ba, ta, dots on top, and tha. The next three letters, jim, ha, and kha, again, when each one of these letters, this is the standalone position, but when they take up the position of when they take up the beginning position of a sequence of joined letters, then they will look like this: jim, ha, and kha. This is what the letters will look like, and we have to practice this with the children. Explain to them that the letters can come in different shapes and forms. You understand? So this is the complete form, and then as you can see, this bit over here is missing. But all these shapes have been taken from the Quran, especially the font we generally tend to follow in the subcontinent. So jim, ha, and kha, this is what they will look like when they take up the beginning position of the sequence of joined letters. If they are coming in the middle of a couple of joined letters, then this is what they will look like. So as you can see, there is a line here and there's a line after that. They are distinguished with their dots. Jim will always be underneath, ha will be free from dots, and kha will have one dot on top. And when they're coming at the end of joined letters, this is what they will look like. jim, ha, and ha. Over here we have dal again. Again, dal is part of the naughty letters, so we can dal has a standalone form and position. However, dal does not come at the beginning of joined letters, neither does it come in the middle of sequence of joined letters. But yes, it can come at the end of joined letters. You can have a letter joined on before dal, but after dal, can you join a letter? No, you can't. It just won't happen. Letter dal the same, and letter ra also the same. They don't come at the beginning of joined letters, neither do they come at the end. Za as well, sorry. So dal, dal, ra, and za, children, viewers and listeners, they will not come at the beginning or the middle of a sequence of joined letters. They can come at the end and have letters joining before them, but they will not come at the beginning and have a letter joining after it, or come in the middle and have a letter joining before and after it. This is not going to happen. Then we have Sin, Sheen, Sod, and Dod. Each one of these letters, they have a beginning, middle, and end. So they can come joined at a beginning of a sequence of joined letters. So Sin will look like this when it's coming at the beginning of joined letters. This is what Sheen will look like, Sod, and this is what Dod will look like when it's at the beginning of a couple of joined letters. Sin will look like this when it's coming in the middle of a sequence of joined letters. This is what Sheen will look like, Sod will look like, and Dod will look like this. They just have to recognize and just try and sort of put into memory and into their thought process that these words can also take up different shapes. And it's all about when they're coming on their own, or when they're coming in a word and they are coming joined. Okay? Now let's move on to the next half and the rest of the letters. Letter Ta and Dha, both these letters are the shape, the structure is exactly the same, distinguished by the dot. Ta is dot free and Dha has a single dot. Ta and Dha can come at the beginning of joined letters. This is the position they will take up. They come in the middle of a couple of joined letters. This is what they will look like. This is a Ta, but it's going to come joined in the middle. This is a Dha. Again, this is a Ta at the end of letters. And this is a Dha coming at the end of a sequence of joined letters. Let's see what letter Ain can look like. This is letter Ain and letter Ghain. Difference between these two is the dot. Ghain has a dot and Ain doesn't. Ain, when it's coming at the beginning of a sequence of joined letters, this is what Ain will look like, and Ghain will look exactly the same with its dot. When they come in the middle, this is what they will look like. In the middle of joined letters. So if you've got a letter joined here before it and a letter joined after it, you want to write letter Ain and you want to join it with the letter before and the letter after. This is what the letter will look like. This is how you will need to write it. Okay, this is letter Ain, and then at the end, when they come at the end, that's Ain, and also this is Ghain coming at the end of joined letters. If we look at this one here, Fa standalone, then Fa also has Fa can come at the beginning of joined letters. So this is what Fa will look like if it's the first letter joined. If it's the middle letter joined, this is what it will look like. And if Fa is the last letter joined into a sequence of letters, it will look like this. This one is Qaf. If it's joined at the beginning, this is what it will look like. Joined in the middle, this is what it will look like. And if it's joined at the end, this is what it will look like. And then we have Kaf here, coming on its own when nothing is joined before it and after it. But if Kaf is joined at the beginning, it will look like this. If it's joined in the middle, it will look like this. And if it's joined with letters at the end, it will look like this. Lam on its own when nothing is joining before and after it. But if Lam is joined at the beginning, Lam is at the beginning and there's a letter joined after it, this is what Lam will look like. So the first joined letter is Lam. This is what it will look like, and this is how it will be written. If Lam is in the middle of a sequence of joined letters, there are letters before and after it, this is what it will look like. And if Lam is at the end of joined letters and there is letters joined before it, and Lam is the last letter which is joined, it will look like this. And then we have Mim. Mim, when it's on its own, nothing joined before and after. Mim joined at the beginning of a word, joined in the middle of a word, or joined at the end of a word. Remember, they are joined. Noon, when it's coming on its own, when you have a sequence of joined letters and the first letter is noon, this is what it will look like. If it's noon in the middle, this is what it will look like. And if it's noon at the end, this is what it will look like. This noon, the shape of the noon when it's at the beginning joined, a sequence of joined letters, and noon is at the beginning, or it's in the middle, it's exactly the same as, what can we see here? Over here, can you see the shape of the ba? Ba, ta, tha, ba, ta, tha. Noon is exactly the same here. Look, noon and noon. They're taking up the same shape. It's just a sequence of, it's all about the dots. The dot is on top over here. And look where the dot is. The dot is on top. Alhamdulillah. So this is a noon. Ha. When ha is coming joined at the beginning, it will look like this. When it's joined in the middle, so there's got a letter. So we've got ha and the letter is joining after it. Right? The first letter is ha. First letter of joined letters. So if you have sequence of joined letters, inshallah. Going forward, I will say this, and inshallah from examples we will be able to explain further. You can have, for example, three letters in a word. The very first letter could be coming all by its own. If it's an alif, it has to come on its own. If it's a dal, if it's any of these 6 letters, and the letter is starting with any of these 6 letters, you know for a fact the letter which is going to come second, third, the second letter coming after any of these letters which a word begins with, is not going to be joined. So you could have 3 letters, 1, 2, 3. Letter 1, if it's any of them 6 letters, it will not be joined. It will be coming on its own. However, letter 2 and 3 can be joined. So letter 2 and 3 are the joined letters. So the first joined letter is actually letter 2, and the second joined letter is letter 3, and it's also classed as the last one, because there's only 2 more letters left in the word. So inshallah I will point this out in the actual word diagrams that we will be covering, inshallah. So we have letter waw here. Waw has the standalone position where nothing can join before and after, but you will not find a waw at the beginning of join letters, because you can't join letters after waw, just like over here. And in the same way, we have hamza here. Hamza, this is hamza at the beginning on its own standalone position. Hamza when it is joined at the beginning, hamza when it is joined in the middle of a sequence of joined letters, and hamza at the end when it's in a sequence of joined letters. And we also have letter ya here. Ya is when it's in the standalone position, nothing joined before and after, or ya coming in the beginning of a sequence of joined letters. This is what it will look like. Ya coming in the middle, and then ya coming at the end. Inshallah, we will just look at the first line just as a thing. So as you can see, these are the letters in the examples. We have to try and work out what these letters are. So this first letter is fa, this second letter dal, and this letter lam, noon, jim, wa, ha, Sin, and ta. I've just gone through that first line. As part of your homework and working out, your task is to work out these first 3 lines, inshallah. So the children who are watching this, you have to try and work out yourself what these letters are. And then when I am going to do your lesson with you, inshallah, on Monday, I will ask you what the answer is. You will say the answer before I say, and if our answers are same, then alhamdulillah. So go through the previous lessons, consolidate, and try to understand what this whole identity map is about. Just to recap, letters can come on in a standalone position when there is no letter joined before and after. If they are joined, they will either be joined at the beginning, middle, end, and these are the shapes they will take up, depending on which letter it is. And inshallah, we will start the exercising from Monday. So for now, remember us all in your pious du'as, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you all safe. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.